watching Rogers TV.
Commerce for hosting us tonight. We have a big decision before us, and tonight is about finding out who of these 6 individuals will represent us in the next 4 years and will be our voice in Ottawa. Tonight is intended to be an opportunity for us to ask questions of each of them on behalf of their parties and their own beliefs so that we can better understand their views on the issues that are important to us.
All of the candidates will have 1 minute for their introduction and 2 minutes for closing remarks. Questions and rebuttal will rotate from seat 1 through seat 6. Seat 1 will have a full minute to answer that, and then seats 2 to 6 will have a 30-second rebuttal period. Then we move on to seat 2, and the questions go from there. These questions were all emailed in. You also have the opportunity as the audience, and a great big audience, thank you everyone for coming, to write a question as well. Keep it very brief. We also have the right to edit questions if need be for time's sake, and they can be placed over on the table in the back. Actually, it's over here now. Put Strathroy will have those questions and collect them for us if time warrants. It's all time sensitive. So if you do have a question, definitely submit it too. This debate is filmed by Rogers Television. If you want to watch it again, it will be on several times. So Election Day, October 21st, get out and vote. Election time will be from 9 in the morning till 9 at night. And check the website for advanced polling as well if you want to vote early.
Okay, and I would just add tonight that I think we're all going to have some fun. Looking forward to the opportunity to speak to the candidates. We are, though, insisting on a respectful debate. Tonight will be an exchange of ideas. It's intended to be an opportunity for people in the community to get to know their potential representative and to ask questions. We're not looking for some of the unpleasantness that sometimes accompanies politics. We're looking for a civil and respectful debate so we can hear our candidates this evening. So without anything further, Lorena.
Okay, so our first question will go to Jesse.
Intros.
Oh, the intros. I apologize. Yes, you all have a 1 minute intro. Already getting off track. There's television shows I want to watch. No, I'm just kidding. Jesse, you have your 1 minute opening statement.
Thank you, Lorena. My name is Jesse McCormick. I'm your local Liberal candidate for Lambton-Kent-Middlesex. I was born and raised in the heart of Middlesex County. I used to drive the Zamboni at the Tri-Township Arena in Mount Bridges, and I used to wash the dishes at the Little Beaver restaurant in Kamoka. I'm a proud member of Chippewas of the Thames First Nation. I have family in Oneida Nation of the Thames, as well as Batchewana First Nation up near Sault Ste. Marie. I'm a proud father, a loving partner. I have 2 children, Quinn and Everett, and they're a big part of the reason I'm here today. I'm passionate about the environment, about reconciliation, and sharing the strength and beauty of our rural communities with the rest of Canada. And I believe the last 4 years have been good for our country, and we have the opportunity to move forward with some good opportunities to make life better in Canada. Thank you all for being here today, and I really appreciate it. I'm looking forward to the questions. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Rob Lalande. I'd like to thank everybody for coming out this evening. I am the candidate with the Veterans Coalition Party of Canada. I've lived in Strathroy now for over 20 years. I am married, I have 3 stepkids and a beautiful little granddaughter. I've been involved as a coach for minor hockey in Strathroy and soccer and spent a short time with our local Army Cadet group. I am a veteran, having served with the Princess Patricia's Canadian Light Infantry. During my time in the service, I did a tour of duty in the Falklands as a Canadian peacekeeper during the conflict. I believe leadership is always about putting others first and doing what's right, and that's what I will always do. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Dylan McLean. I'm the NDP candidate for Lambton-Kent-Middlesex. I live in Tupperville, just between Dresden and Wallaceburg. I spent about the last 10 years in the riding, working for many locally owned businesses and things like that. I'm here today to give a voice to a riding that truly needs it and has been forgotten about, in my opinion, and that's what I hope to do. I look forward to the questions tonight, and thank you very much for coming.
Hello, everyone. I am Bria Atkins, and I represent the fastest growing political party in the history of Canada, the People's Party of Canada. Since the campaign began, all of the other parties have promised to spend over $120 billion, your tax dollars, in exchange for your votes. The PPC has promised nothing except to give each Canadian back more of your tax dollars. We will balance the budget in 2 years by cutting spending on things like corporate welfare, non-emergency foreign aid, and also defunding the CBC. I run a household with my husband and my 2 children, and I run 2 businesses. The only reason that I've been able to maintain all of these things is with careful attention to my budget. My house is my home, and my business is my bread. 52% of Canadians are ready for a new party, and the People's Party is that party. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for being here this evening. I'd like to thank the Strathroy Chamber for holding this debate tonight and for the other candidates who are here as well. My name is Leanne Rood, and I am the Conservative Party candidate who is running to represent you as your next Member of Parliament here in Lambton-Kent-Middlesex. I grew up on a 1,000-acre vegetable farm, and I continue to farm potatoes even today. I can say I'm equally comfortable in a pair of work boots in the middle of a potato field as I am in a boardroom in a suit and heels. And I began my political career in 2006 working for our own MP, Bev Shipley. I spent 6 years working there, and Bev has taught me the importance of honesty, integrity, and hard work as a Member of Parliament. I hope to be able to carry on his exemplary legacy as your next Member of Parliament. I'm not an individual who is parachuted into this riding for opportunism. I was born here 40 years ago, and I'm a proud business owner and resident of this incredible riding. I am one of you, and I look forward to answering your questions.
Thank you for the invitation. My name is Anthony Lee, and I'm your Green Party candidate for Lambton-Kent-Middlesex. I'm a medical student at Queen's who recently completed a degree in biology and economics at Western. I may be young, but I'm no stranger to politics. I ran the provincial election last year with the Greens, and I am proud to be running with the Greens again for this election for several reasons. I believe in good government. Your representative in Ottawa should always put you first over party politics. The Greens do not whip votes. I believe in community health, pharmacare, dental. It will help the seniors and affordability. I believe in a sustainable economy. We can combine real climate action with economic growth. I have an interdisciplinary background. I've worked in public service in Ottawa and research with the London Health Sciences Research Centre, and I've taught as a teaching assistant. I have extensive volunteer experience, and I believe I can combine my leadership in education and nonprofit boards to serve you, Lambton-Kent-Middlesex, with a new higher standard of service.
Okay, we're going to start with our first question. And this question, again, will go first to Jesse. You have 60 seconds to answer it, and then everyone else has a 30-second rebuttal time. If you see me waving, you're like, what is she doing? That's just to let them know when they have 10 seconds left. Yeah. Life is getting more and more expensive for Canadian families. What specific things will your party do to make life more affordable for us?
Thank you for the question, Lorena. A re-elected Liberal government has committed to make life more affordable for middle-class families and seniors as well, especially in that early part of a child's life. In the first year of a child's life, we've committed to making parental and maternity leave benefits tax-free. We've also committed to increasing the Canada Child Benefit, which has had the impact of raising 300,000 people out of poverty, to increase it by 15% during that first year. Making lives more affordable for Canadian families is an extremely important part of what this government is committed to do and what we will continue to do if re-elected. Thank you.
Yes, we need to make things more affordable for everybody. And sometimes with that comes cuts. So we propose cuts, but we will take the first cuts. We have a proposal we will put forward to cut MP pay by 20%. And also cut MP pensions by 2.5%. We should take the first hit. It shouldn't be the people. We have to find better ways to invest our money and get a better return on it for all Canadians. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. The cost of living and affordability is absolutely a huge problem. And the NDP is committed to creating 500,000 affordable housing units across the country. And also, more importantly, for the young families, 500,000 and $10 billion going to it for childcare. So the hope by roughly 2030, childcare a day would be roughly $10 a day for the families that could afford it, and those who not, we would look after that. Thank you.
The People's Party of Canada is lowering income tax for every income bracket, 0% on up to $15,000, a flat rate of 15% on $15K up to $100K, and a flat rate of 25% on $100K or more. We're abolishing the capital gains tax, so when you build wealth in your life and you need that money to retire, you'll keep more of your own wealth. And we're also going to make staple groceries like milk, dairy, and eggs more affordable for every person.
The Conservative Party of Canada has committed to, first of all, scrapping the carbon tax. We've committed to taking the GST off your home heating bills. We've committed to making your maternity and paternity leave benefits tax-free. We're also going to implement a child tax fitness credit and an arts and learning tax credit, because we know that you need and deserve more money in your pockets, and it's time for you to get ahead.
Thank you for the question. So many things go into affordability, whether it's housing, education, healthcare. We need a multifaceted approach. So with the Greens, there's many ways that we can look at this. One is eliminating tuition for the students. Other is ensuring that we have affordable housing. Pharmacare, basic dental for low-income families, and ensuring that we have energy-efficient homes so that your energy costs go down. All of these come together.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Before we go to question number 2, just a reminder to the audience that if you have a cell phone with you tonight, if you could please shut that off and make sure that it doesn't disrupt the debate. We don't want to interrupt the flow as our candidates are speaking. My question, the question that I'm presenting tonight, will go to seat number 2 first for 60 seconds, and then each seat following that will have 30 seconds for rebuttal. Climate change is an issue that is of growing concern both here in Lambton-Kent-Middlesex and around the world. Global governments are responding with various targets, plans, and strategies. What will you, and if successful, your party forms a government, what will they do to tackle the growing concerns surrounding climate change?
We will continue to try and reduce emissions, although we will repeal the carbon tax. We will mandate for fossil fuel companies to come up with new green technology to better support the environment. We will reinstate the Clean Waters Act and continue to work with everyone to find better ways to reduce CO2 pollution. We could sell CO2 reduction technology overseas, make more money that way. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. The NDPs are not in favor of scrapping the carbon tax, but what they are in favor of and we are in favor of doing is hitting the heavy emitters the hardest and using that money to go toward and reinvesting it into climate change possibilities and technologies within Canada.
The People's Party of Canada does not subscribe to the climate alarmism. And so our position on this issue is that at the federal level, we will repeal the carbon tax and we will leave the jurisdiction to the provinces to tackle carbon as they so choose. I'd like to bring to your attention, September 23rd of 2019, 500 scientists wrote open letter to the UN urging us to follow climate policy based on sound science, realistic economics, and a genuine concern for those involved.
Thank you. The Conservative Party is committed to scrapping the carbon tax. I know we're all concerned about the environment, and I know we want to leave our planet better for future generations. But the way to do that is not through taxation, it's through green technology. So we're going to invest in green technology because we need to take the fight global, not just here at a national level. So green technology, not taxes, and a cleaner, greener environment for future generations.
The planet is all we really have. The Green Party has something called Mission Possible. It's our 20-step climate action plan and is the only comprehensive plan to avoid climate catastrophe. There are many things that can go into fixing climate change. A few of them, based on the time, cancel pipelines, protect our fresh water and oceans, and ensure that we have carbon pricing to limit emissions.
I've had the pleasure of serving in the Office of the Minister of Environment and Climate Change for the last 3.5 years. And based on everything I've heard from our scientists in government, a carbon price is the most effective and fairest way to reduce our emissions. A Liberal government is committed to net zero emissions by 2030, planting 2 billion trees, and investing in disaster response as a method of addressing climate change. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the next question is on vaping, and it will go to Dylan first this time. In Canada, there has been a 75% increase in youth vaping and a 45% increase in youth smoking in the last year. Parents, school staff, healthcare providers, everyone extremely concerned about accessibility to these products, and that's where the federal government would come in with Health Canada. Will your party ensure that vaping products undergo strict regulation and fall under the same rules as tobacco when it comes to promotion in stores, social media, etc.? And will your party ban flavored vaping products?
Thank you for the question. So yes, the vaping epidemic, as we're referring to it, is absolutely wild and rampant amongst the younger generation. We're committed to enforcing the same rules as the tobacco with the marketing and things like that. This pays for us in the long run because it reduces the healthcare cost that affects each and every taxpayer in the country. As for the flavored vaping, that is not something we've discussed, but I would be open to that myself.
Healthcare is exclusively a provincial jurisdiction, and the People's Party of Canada will give the power back to the provinces and allow them to delegate based on those facts. Personally, I do agree that vaping is dangerous for our youth, and as an MP, I would work closely to advise our provincial MPPs and look at similar regulations and covering the sales in the stores.
So our previous Conservative government took measures to ensure that tobacco products were properly regulated and made it more difficult and less enticing for youth to have access to tobacco products. We will continue to do that with vaping products going forward and take measures to make sure our youth and our Canadians' health and safety is paramount and number one at the forefront.
Vaping was introduced and advertised as an alternative to smoking, a safe alternative. And that was because there wasn't enough research behind at the time to talk about the negative effects. However, recent studies, current evidence is showing that it causes severe respiratory issues. So the Green Party is committed to ensuring that we have strict regulation and ensuring that accessibility is limited through proper education.
The Liberal Party of Canada is committed to ensuring that Canadians have the health care they need, including access to a family doctor or primary health care team to improve the quality of care for nearly 5 million Canadians who today lack access. We need to increase education. I personally believe vaping is something that we need to address through education and regulation. Thank you.
The Veterans Coalition Party will also put on the same rules and regulations as tobacco. We will also try to crack down on inferior products coming in from other countries that are sold at a cheaper price. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, everyone. Bria, this question will begin with you. We had some conversation earlier about climate change. This question is on the same kind of topic, but says basically, can you explain to us what exactly does paying a carbon tax do to help the environment?
Nothing. Carbon tax does not help our environment. It puts a strain on every taxpayer. And additionally, it punishes the people like us here in Lambton-Kent-Middlesex who are largely agriculture and largely rural. We don't have public transit we have it, but we're not situated like an urban center where everyone has that option. We need to drive, and we don't need to be punished for it.
I agree. As a farmer myself, I've seen the effects that a carbon tax has, and it does nothing in this riding except for increase everybody's cost of living. So the first thing we're going to do is repeal the carbon tax. And like Bria said, I echo her comments. We have no public transportation available in this riding. We're at the mercy of our own selves or our neighbors to get us around. So green technology, not taxes, is the way to go.
How does carbon pricing help the environment? It all boils down to economics. It's a disincentive for companies to pollute and corrupt our waterways. Now, the issue with carbon taxes is people are worried that their own taxes will go up, the cost of living will go up. Under the Green Party policy, the carbon pricing is revenue neutral. All the money from the carbon pricing will return to you as dividends.
We agree that climate change is happening. Winters are getting shorter, it's less cold, it's affecting the crops. We need to do something for our children and for our grandchildren. Carbon pricing creates incentives for us to make better choices by putting a price on pollution. It is a net revenue neutral process. All the money that goes out comes back to individuals through a climate action incentive. And there's also an exemption for most fuels used in agriculture. Thank you.
The Veterans Coalition Party will repeal the carbon tax because it does nothing for people living in rural areas except take more money out of their pocket. Thank you.
The NDP is committed to changing the carbon tax and hitting those who pollute more, pay more. And also, like my Liberal colleague has said here, it does not apply to most fuels used in agriculture. Thank you.
Okay, and we are going to let Bria have 30 more seconds. That was on me. I kept you
that's
to
what you were
30
saying.
seconds. Yes, I
Okay.
apologize. So you have another 30 seconds. If you'd like to comment further on that, it's up to you.
Sure, just let me. So as I said, the carbon tax does nothing for the environment. That is important. It is a tax that does nothing but give the government more of our money. And I disagree with some of my colleagues saying that it's a neutral or you receive all your money back, because you do not. I myself am a homeowner and a business owner, so I pay it on both of those entities. And $200 does not cover even a tenth of what I spend in a month.
Okay, now this question will be for Leanne. It's no secret that the political situation south of the border remains volatile. And that volatility is affecting everything from cross-border traffic and manufacturing to the integrated supply chain and tourism. How would you and your party handle this if you were to form the next government?
Sure, thank you for the question. Our southern neighbors are our biggest trading partner and ally, and it's very important that we have a good relationship with our southern neighbors, including for our farmers. And something in the last 4 years, we've seen nothing come about for our farmers and our agriculture sector. We've seen things been given away in the new negotiations with the USMCA. So we're prepared to go back and stand up for our farmers, stand up for our rural areas, stand up for our agriculture. And people are saying life has become unaffordable, and that's what we're going to focus on, is making life more affordable for everyday Canadians and making sure that we can put more money in your pockets, because at the end of the day, we want you to get ahead.
One of the core foundations of the Green Party is good government. Whether it involves having its representatives speak for the constituents of our party policies, and that's what the Green Party will use to approach any U.S. politics. We've been calling for changes to NAFTA since 2006, USMCA now, because we need to protect Canadians and protect the local economy. So we'll go with our principle of good governance and democracy in the approach.
Turn the volume up a little? Yeah. Okay.
Canada is the only G7 country with trade agreements with all the other G7 countries. We've had a bit of a rocky road with our U.S. neighbors, but we still continue to appreciate them as our greatest allies. In order to ensure a strong economy for Canada, it's very important to invest in trade diversification, so we're not dependent on only one market for our goods and services. Canada has appointed, the Liberal government appointed a minister responsible for diversifying Canada's trade and has increased investment in that area significantly. Thank you.
If everyone could speak very closely to the mic, that would be great. Thank you.
I see one of the biggest problems we have right now with our U.S. trading partner is their leadership is only worried about their country and what is best for them. We need strong people who will stand up and fight, renegotiate deals properly to benefit us more than what's happening now. Thank you.
Yes, our trading relations and many relations with our southern neighbors is quite rocky, and it is a volatile political situation. But that's not for us to get involved in. In regards to trade, the bad Liberal trade deals have cost us $1.3 billion in the last 4 years.
The United States is our largest ally and trading partner, and this relationship needs to be nurtured and preserved for the best interest of Canada. When I see leaders of the other parties holding press conferences to publicly chastise the President of the United States on his behavior, I view that as a mistake, and that will hurt us at the negotiation table when we are working on deals. So we need to nurture and preserve the relationship with our biggest ally.
Okay, time is flying by here. I just want to remind everyone out there to submit any questions that you might have. Putz is over here immediately behind us. If anyone has questions, bring them over to Putz or let them know that you have a question. This question will go out to, we have it on seat. Anthony, I guess this is your question. As many of you, I think, will agree, the relationship between the federal government and our local governments is incredibly important. How would you propose to strengthen and to develop ties between the federal and local governments and to help to make sure that our small communities are well served by that relationship?
It's a complicated situation in terms of jurisdictions. When we have provincial governments saying one thing, municipalities trying to speak on behalf of their citizens, and the federal government trying to meet international stances. We need to talk together and work together, and we don't have that platform yet. The Green Party wants to create a council of Canadian governments. This includes mayors, it includes premiers, it includes leaders from Indigenous communities, and it includes all Canadian leaders. This council will meet together and ensure that all constituents, all needs are met.
When in government, the Liberal Party of Canada made significant investments in communities and enhancing the relationship with municipalities, including a one-time doubling of the gas tax, which provided a serious infrastructure injection into the budgets of local municipalities. In order to continue the nation-building infrastructure, the Liberal Party of Canada, if re-elected, will establish a national infrastructure fund to support projects that benefit all Canadians. Thank you.
The Veterans Coalition Party will invest in infrastructure, excuse me, and continue to look for ways to save money when we're having projects built, projects completed as well. Thank you.
Point of clarification on the question. The question was you or the party?
Either or and both?
Okay. Personally, I believe that there is much disconnect between our three levels of government within our jurisdiction, within all the jurisdictions in Canada. And working together to close those gaps is better for everybody. Working together, better infrastructure projects where the federal government can commit, the provincial government can commit, and where the municipalities can, they can commit. You can't keep taxing the municipalities to pay for everything.
The PPC is committed to a smaller and more efficient government at the federal level. We are committed to eliminating all of the federal overreach into municipal and federal jurisdictions that muddy the waters and leave people wondering who to blame when they are not satisfied with the services that they're receiving. At the People's Party, we believe the municipal and provincial governments are closer to the people and therefore should have the liberty to deal directly with the people without interference, but yet support from our government.
I personally believe in fostering relationships at our local levels with all of our local mayors in this riding. I am here and I want to represent you to fight for projects, infrastructure projects in all of our communities that need them. And I pledge to do that. I pledge to foster relationships with our mayors and have good working relationships across every municipality in Lambton-Kent-Middlesex.
This question that was emailed to us is similar to one that came from the floor, so you'll hear that here, basically. Can you speak to, and we're back to Jesse, aren't we? Can you speak to how you and your party will continue boosting access to social and affordable housing for low-income Canadians while engaging directly with municipalities to tackle the wider disconnect between rents, home prices, and income levels?
If you don't have solid and reliable housing, you don't have a good quality of life. And without a good quality of life, you're not going to succeed and you're not going to be in a good position to contribute to the Canadian economy. Making life more affordable for Canadians includes many different facets. The Liberal Party of Canada is committed to, if re-elected, provide incentives and opportunities for first-time home buyers to increase their opportunity to get into some of these markets by making it easier for people to buy their first home. We also want to invest in providing the services and infrastructure necessary for those who currently don't have the means to access appropriate housing. Thank you very much.
Can I have the question again, please?
Can you speak to how you and your party will continue boosting access to social and affordable housing for low-income Canadians while engaging directly with municipalities to tackle the wider disconnect between rents, home prices, and income levels?
We definitely have to find ways for some more income, lower-income housing. We've seen this summer the tent city we hide behind the dairy case here in Strathroy, and it's kind of unbelievable that would even happen in this town. We need to also find out why, or find a way to help building owners, because their cost is now becoming so absorbent they have to charge higher rent prices. Thank you.
As I mentioned earlier, the NDP, as part of our New Deal for People, have committed to 500,000 affordable housing units across the country. The other 2 points with affordable housing is reintroducing the 30-year mortgage on the CMHC-backed mortgages, and also a $1,500 tax credit for first-time home buyers.
The People's Party of Canada is going to lower income tax for every Canadian in every income bracket. And what this will translate to is you keeping more of your purchasing power. We at the People's Party believe in the people. We believe that you know better what to do with your money than the government taking it from you and distributing it how they see fit. Another solution to our major pressure in our housing market is lowering the levels of immigration so that the housing market isn't flooded with more newcomers than we can accommodate.
As many as 60% of lower income Canadians are paying higher taxes over the last 4 years. And a Conservative government is going to look and work with the provinces and municipalities to knock down regulatory barriers that discourage new home construction and more homes, so more homes can come on the market to lower prices. We're also offering a universal tax credit across the board and getting rid of the carbon tax, making your everyday life less expensive, making it more affordable for you, and putting money in your pockets to spend how you want.
The Green Party of Canada will legislate housing as a legally protected, fundamental human right for all Canadians and permanent residences. We'll provide financing to non-profit housing organizations and cooperatives to build and restore quality, energy-efficient housing for seniors, people with special needs, and low-income families.
Okay. Questions are flooding in, so I guess this one will begin in seat number 2. And it is simply, rural and small urban communities like ours require modernized programs and funding tools to recognize the realities and expertise of smaller communities. We need a champion to commit to closing the internet access gap and promote local economic development and provide adequate and stable funding, such as the gas tax. Large cities and centers have a very strong voice. Will you and your party be our voice? And if so, what steps will you take to be our champion?
One of the steps we will take for small businesses is to lower the small business tax to 12%. We will continue to work federally, municipally, and provincially to come up with ways for these people to be able to keep their businesses running, grow and expand, and find other places outside of here to do business. Thank you.
It goes back to my comments earlier about working with the municipalities and our provincial counterparts, but also the NDP's platform for small businesses is the best amongst the candidates up here. The other point that is absolutely crucial to us is the remote access for the internet. And that is one thing that we are very, very pushing strongly towards. This day and age, you need to have a good internet source.
The People's Party of Canada is a free market party. So we are looking at what the People's Party would do would allow more competition into our internet service providers to take down that monopoly, and this will enable better products at lower prices and more availability. Also for small businesses, the small business corporate rate, 10%, and we're abolishing capital gains. This allows you to reinvest in yourself and keep more of your own money.
A new Conservative government has committed to appointing a Minister of Rural Affairs. Being from a rural area myself and talking with business owners as I'm knocking on the doors, I hear how important it is to have access to high-speed internet. Canadians and rural Canadians deserve that. It's a necessity to run their businesses, and we're committing to help build that infrastructure to provide high-speed internet, having a minister dedicated to rural affairs, and having that voice at the cabinet table so that every decision that is made in cabinet will have a rural perspective.
I'll answer this twofold. First, for interest of local businesses, the Green Party will implement this Green Venture Capital Fund to aid green business startups and will eliminate the need for small businesses to file taxes multiple times. In terms of internet, we'll amend CRTC regulations so that we can increase market competition. And we need better infrastructure to get more high-speed internet across rural and remote Canada.
You can't speak to the success of our municipalities without recognizing the impact of the Conservative government in Queen's Park. Doug Ford has made significant cuts to municipalities, and it's impacting the budget that's available to you here. A Liberal government, if re-elected, will commit to universal high-speed internet by 2030 and a top-up of the federal gas tax so municipalities can choose where and how to spend the money they need to invest.
Oh, you started, okay. All right. Okay, another farming question, farming related. With a very strong farming background, our current Member of Parliament, Bev Shipley, has been a strong voice for agriculture for us in Ottawa. What would you and your party do to continue that tradition?
First off, I'd just like to thank Bev for his many years of service and very good individual. But within that question there, the statement of Bev has been a voice for this riding is absolutely false. His time in office, he was a backbencher and went along with what Mr. Harper told him to do and didn't truly give a voice to the farmers in this riding. And that is what needs to happen. Sometimes you got to go against what your party wants you to do, and that to be the voice for the riding. And that is something that I commit to do, to give the farmers a voice in this riding.
The People's Party of Canada will not impose a carbon tax on farmers or any other Canadian. We will also drop the corporate tax and the farm tax to 10% on your business. Abolishing the capital gains tax will allow you to keep the family farm in the family and keep this business in the family. Across the road from where I live, there's a situation where the son is losing the farm because of the capital gains problem.
Growing up on a farm and being a farmer myself, I can understand farming. I understand agriculture. I understand the obstacles you face on a daily basis. I understand policy from working with the Minister of Agriculture for 3 years from the inside out and developing good policy that will support our farmers and our agri-food sector across Canada. We are all should be proud of what we produce here in Canada and especially in Lambton-Kent-Middlesex. I will be a strong voice for all farmers across all sectors regardless of what your commodity is.
Our local farmers sustain our communities, and they contribute to the global economy. We need to protect our small business owners through supply management. The Green Party will invest $2.5 million per year into land and quota trust programs and farming apprenticeship programs to expand local small-scale agriculture and help new farmers get started.
Farming, agriculture, agri-food is the backbone of Lambton-Kent-Middlesex. The Liberal Party of Canada is committed to investing in agriculture and making lives easier for farmers. We will expand support for farmers facing major environmental and business risks. We will increase investments in the food development Canadian and make it easier for families to transfer farms to family members. Also, if there are any further trade deals, the Prime Minister is committed that access to supply-managed sectors is not on the table for any more deals.
The Veterans Coalition Party thinks a lot of their farmers. We're a rural area, and it's a big thing we have here. We will implement lowering the family farm tax to 12% and fighting and negotiating, especially with our overseas markets, where right now we're taking a hit. Thank you.
Okay. We're going to stay with agriculture now. This is obviously an important issue to not only the people in this room, but the people right across Lambton-Kent-Middlesex. And as questions are pouring in from the audience, we're going to get crazy and combine a couple of questions. So now we're going to see the candidates really have some skill on their feet. So Bria, with you, we'll start in giving you the first opportunity to question. So two-part question. First, what's your or the People's Party of Canada, or your respective party for the other candidates, position on supply management? And secondly, China has shut the door on pork and canola. Can you speak to what you would do to resolve that and how you would seek to address the collateral damage caused by that decision?
Supply management is a system that artificially inflates the prices of poultry, milk, and eggs for every Canadian. And it impacts the people that are in the lowest income the most. It's actually a regressive tax on the poor. Another thing that supply management does is it restricts access for other producers, such as cattle farmers, to have access to other markets because the supply management is blocking those trade deals. For example, in Japan, the cattle farmers do not have full access there due to the supply management being held tight by Canada. So the People's Party the position is to abolish the supply management, and over a 5-year transition period, the farmers will receive their quotas back and they'll be able to reinvest and grow their business by having the opportunity to export.
So over the last 4 years, it's been clear that, farmers are paying the price for Liberal decisions and their mistakes at home and abroad. It's our pork producers, our soybean, our canola producers, they deserve to have the respect and have somebody stand up for them. A Conservative government will continue to stand up for farmers. We will continue to open new markets for our farmers. We were the ones who brought in the Market Access Secretariat to try and negotiate more trade and open new markets for farmers. We're also going to stand up for supply management and keep supply management.
Supply management protects local produce, protects local products. Said already just in the last answer, the Green Party will maintain our supply management policies. In terms of the issue with pork and canola, I don't know if anyone else addressed that, but Canada, we're kind of getting bullied right now between two big countries. And we need a government who will stand up for Canadians with principles of good governance to open dialogue right now.
A Liberal government has worked hard to diversify Canada's export markets and open up new markets for Canadian farmers, including canola farmers and pork farmers. As noted earlier, the Prime Minister has recently said, and I quote, "As we negotiate any more deals, I can tell you access to supply-managed sectors is not on the table for any more deals." Pork and canola is a tough situation. The Liberal government, when in power, invested $6 million to Canada Pork International to promote exports abroad, and Canada remains enmeshed in this dispute. We'll continue to invest in protecting supply management.
Yes, the Veterans Coalition Party will not have supply management be part of our trade deals. We will need to negotiate and talk with some of our foreign trade partners and be a little more aggressive. We're losing a lot of money right now. We have the problems in China. We can't have that continue. We need a party who's going to fight and make a fair deal for everybody. Thank you.
The NDP are committed to supporting and growing the food sector, protecting supply management for our farmers and consumers in all trade negotiations, putting more local food on local tables, not only in Lambton-Kent-Middlesex, but across the country. Investing farming communities to make sure they are ready to respond to climate and economic change.
Okay, question from the floor. Will your party follow through on past and present farm support programs and also improve on current programs to recoup the losses that farmers have all had together, lost from past trade deals and political misdeeds? Was that clear? Okay.
Here's mud.
As I've said before, our agriculture sector and our farmers are important to Canada. They're the backbone of our communities here, especially in Lambton-Kent-Middlesex. Having worked for a Conservative government before, I can honestly say that we worked very hard for farmers, and I'm sure going back that we'll continue to work just as hard. We're going to open more markets for Canadian farmers' products so that we can export and have new markets. We are going to remove the carbon tax, which is going to help farmers right off the bat. We're going to make sure time and time again that farmers are protected. We're going to protect our supply management sector. Agriculture is important to me, and I can honestly tell you that I will fight for agriculture. I'm passionate about it. I'm passionate about helping our farmers. So at the end of the day, you know you can have somebody who you can trust with the agriculture file working for you in Ottawa.
The Green Party of Canada, as I just said, will advocate for our local farmers, our local businesses, because our farmers contribute to what we need. Sourcing locally decreases emissions. Higher quality products is better for the economy and everyone as a whole. So the Green Party will support farmers, whether it's through farm support programs or recouping losses.
Farms are the backbones of our community. We need to see affordable energy, we need well-maintained roads and infrastructure, we need access to broadband, and we need to be able to access foreign markets in order to make sure that our product is moving. In order to make the changes in Ottawa, you need someone with the experience that knows how to navigate that system. I've spent a lot of time working in Ottawa as a lawyer and as a political advisor. I know how to make those changes. I would represent you well there. Thank you.
Could you repeat that question, please?
Sure. Will your party follow through on past and present farm support programs and also improve on current programs to recoup the losses that farmers have altogether lost from past trade deals and political misdeeds?
We would keep past and present tools to help farmers. I think one of our main concerns for our farmers now who send product overseas is that product is not going overseas. So we need somebody who's going to fight, correct those mistakes that were made, and get that product back to market.
Again, as I mentioned earlier, as the NDP, we are committed to protecting the supply management for the farmers and continuing on the support systems that are there and correcting the losses of over $1.3 billion that have affected our farmers because of bad Liberal trade deals.
The People's Party of Canada will support farmers by stopping the carbon tax, lowering your farm tax to 10%, abolishing your capital gains tax. In speaking with a local farmer in my riding, he brought to my attention federal audits at the federal level that can actually cripple a farming operation at critical harvest time. So I would look at that farmer's concern and help broaden the definition of general labor to include operating a tractor and also maintenance on a tractor, so that these to decrease the regulations.
Okay, Anthony, we'll begin with you this time, and I'll just remind everyone the fans have come on in the room, so perhaps if you could speak as loudly as you can so that everyone can hear. Now, I'm asking this question. Obviously, we have an incredibly young and vibrant audience here tonight, so this question may not apply to anyone here. But there is a question regarding old age security and Canada Pension Plan. It does not provide a comfortable living, according to the questioner. Pensions are monies that seniors have contributed. What are the party positions on removing the taxation on old age pensions and CPP?
Thank you for that question. Our seniors are the backbone of our society. As a youth, everything that I have access to today is because of the older generation. So how is it fair that we remove the accessibility and proper funding from pensions? The Green Party will ensure that the CPP remains robust and adaptive to the changing needs and changing circumstances by increasing overtime target income replacement rates from 25 to 50% of income received during working years to ensure that you get the money that you need just for basic living expenses. Thank you.
The Liberal Party of Canada is committed to helping seniors succeed and recognize the strength that they bring to our communities. In government, we restored the age of eligibility for old age security from 67 to 65. We also increased the guaranteed income supplement by $1,000 a year. We will, if re-elected, increase old age security for those over 75 years by 10% and increase the Canada Pension Plan Survivors Benefit by up to 25%.
The Veterans Coalition Party will no longer tax CPP as an income. The old age security plan will be modernized and amounts will be adjusted for inflation. Thank you.
The NDP's New Deal for People will ensure no seniors fall through the cracks and live in dignity. Things we're going to look at doing and promising are, like I mentioned, creating more affordable housing, protecting and boosting the CPP for all the seniors, the Medicare aspect, and also the dental aspect, which can cost seniors lots these days.
The People's Party of Canada is the only party that is proposing bold income tax reform. Our mission is to enable Canadians of every income bracket and every age group to keep more of your own money. This is critical. The capital gains tax will also be abolished. So when you're at that age of retirement and you're looking to cash in on your life's work, you will get to keep more of your wealth for yourself.
Knocking on doors, I talk to seniors every day, and they're telling me life has become unaffordable. So some of the things the Conservative Party is going to do to make their life more affordable, your life more affordable: scrapping the GST off your home heating bills, scrapping the carbon tax, increasing the age credit by $1,000. We're committed to putting more money in your pockets. Those are just a few things. Reducing wait times for potentially life-saving tests that need to be done by investing more into the healthcare system and our social transfer programs.
Okay, another question from the floor. If your party is elected, how would you make Canada a safer place for children?
The Liberal Party of Canada is committed to making Canada a safer place. One of our hallmark commitments in this election is measures to ensure effective gun control to make Canada's streets a safer place. We will ban military-style assault weapons, including the AR-15, and we will impose practical measures that respect the rights of gun owners and permit hunting to continue while still ensuring the necessary protections for individuals that may be at risk. Thank you.
The Veterans Coalition Party thinks it's very important that we keep our children safe, especially when it comes to weapons. We believe education is a much better tool because we will not be changing any of our current gun laws on legal gun owners.
The NDP is committed to keeping children safe everywhere across the country. We are in favor of gun control, but not necessarily banning weapons. It's controlling the influx of the illegal handguns across the border, which are truly causing the gun control issues in this country in the larger cities like Toronto and Vancouver. It's not the weapons that are owned by the people in this riding.
I think we can all agree that we want Canada to be safe for our children. I know I do for my own 2 children. The People's Party of Canada is committed to targeting the criminals with our criminal code. We are tired as legally registered gun owners of being targeted when we are not the criminals. I also am very concerned about the lack of penalty for offenses against children, specifically sexual assaults or sexual offenses. The penalties and the crimes are not enough.
A Conservative government will put the safety of children first and ensure that those who seek to harm them will face the full extent of the law in Canada's justice system. We're going to end automatic bail for any of the person who's accused of selling human beings or offenses against children.
Okay. All right. I'm going to throw the next one, I guess. I'm sorry, Anthony didn't have a chance. My bad.
Thank you. This question is insane. It's unfortunate that we have to be worried about the safety of our children in a country like Canada. So the Greens will implement a ban on handguns and military-grade weapons and protect the rights of those who need them within their own areas. We'll use a confidential buyback program, which will allow for a safe method of reduction.
Okay, thank you. We'll start this time with Rob. With the new increases in pot sales, what will your party do with all the money? That was a question from the floor.
Yeah. I think when we actually, or the government starts to actually make money on cannabis sales, we could use that money for things, infrastructure, other projects that'll help the country move along and move forward. Because it's a very lucrative business. There's a lot of money to be made that could be useful to us. It just has to be done the right way, and that's not happening now. Thank you.
Dealing with the cannabis industry almost on a daily basis in my professional life, especially within the riding of Lambton-Kent-Middlesex, absolutely. The revenue, once we do start turning a profit on this, is exponential, the amount of funds we're going to see come in. But the NDP is committed to our New Deal for people, like the 500,000 affordable housing units, the Dentacare, the Pharmacare. All of those things are funded through programs like the legal cannabis.
The People's Party of Canada is the only party that is promising to balance our budget, and we're going to do that in 2 years. We're going to cut spending that is not necessary, like corporate welfare, like defunding the CBC, like non-emergency foreign aid. And if and when the government ever actually gets revenue from the sales of cannabis, that money will go towards our deficit and eliminating our debt.
I'd just like to correct my colleague. We've also committed to balancing the budget, so that will come down the road. But Conservatives take the health and safety of Canadians very seriously, and we are always there to put in programs to protect those from things that are dangerous to them. And with the tax money that's brought in, we will continue our health transfers to the provinces at a 3% increase per year or more, so that the provinces continue to have stable health care funding.
the Green Party is also committed to balancing the budget within 5 years. In terms of this question, the current government is losing money selling drugs. One huge priority for the Greens, universal pharmacare and dental coverage. This will increase accessibility, decrease your cost of living, and create a more healthy society.
Increased revenues are an important part of managing the books effectively as a government. The investments we can make are important. One of them will be to help cut the cost of cell and wireless services by up to 25%, and also make it easier for people to get the help they need in relation to drug use and addiction. Last year, more than 4,000 of the deaths were from opioid use alone, and we need to invest to ensure that we're addressing that crisis. Thank you.
Okay, and this next question touches on some of your answers, but I think it is worth a standalone question in itself, and that is on the debt and deficit spending. How are you and your party going to address the federal debt? And with deficit spending, are we not really robbing the generation to come? Is this not immoral? So, yeah. Yep.
The NDP is committed to a new deal for the people. The pharmacare, the dental, and all of those things. Once those things are in place, the plan is to then tackle the deficit that has been left by conservative governments, liberal governments, everybody who's been there for the last 2 decades. That's our plan in order to get rid of the deficit. Take care of the people first, and then we'll take care of the deficit.
The deficits of today are the taxes of tomorrow. And our current government is on a spending spree of what seems to be infinite money while telling our veterans that they're asking for more than they can give. We are committed to eliminating the debt and keeping our Canadian tax dollars in Canada for the vulnerable people in our country, our homeless, our vets, and anybody who needs social services. Our money will be in our own country to serve the people of Canada first.
Andrew Scheer and the Conservative Party have a plan to live within our means. Our government will put more money in your pockets while helping you get ahead while living within our means. It's not ahead, it's hard enough right now to get ahead, and we're committed to reducing spending while putting more money in your pockets and taking a sensible approach to reducing our deficit and coming back to a balanced budget.
I mentioned the Greens are committed to balancing the budget for 5 years, and obviously that's a hard task, easier said than done. So how will we do it? Look at our platform, we outline all of it. Some things, tax the e-commerce sector. Giants like Netflix, Facebook, Amazon, Google, Uber, huge market share, they're paying almost no tax. We're going to end offshore tax dodging by taxing funds hidden. Stop corporate handouts. Stop subsidizing the fossil fuel industry and take those billions and invest in a clean energy sector.
Andrew Scheer has been leader of the Conservative Party of Canada for 858 days, and he has not released a platform. We don't know for sure what he's going to do, and we see in Queen's Park the impact that those cuts are having on Canadian families. Canada has the best balance sheet in the G7, and our debt to GDP ratio is strong. Investments are helping Canadian families and seniors, and we'll continue to invest in Canadian families and seniors. Thank you.
Yeah, the Veterans Coalition Party will pay down our debt. We will not create new taxes. We will do things like eliminating the GST 1.25% a year until it's eliminated. We will start to reduce government operations budgets by 10%, limiting expenses, purchases, unnecessary expenditures. We will freeze hiring for additional civil servants, for 2 years. And look, thank you.
Okay, so we've now passed the hour mark and questions are pouring in. We're doing our very best to get through them all. If we don't get to them all, and I'm not sure that we will, just so everyone knows they will have the opportunity afterwards. If the candidates are held back here a little bit, you'll be able to speak with them directly. But we're going to do our best to get through as many as we can. Question here tonight, we've been talking to the candidates about their policies, their party's policies, but I think it's important, and this questioner thinks it's important that we ask a little bit about the candidates themselves. Community is key in a place like Strathroy Caradoc and Lambton-Kent-Middlesex. What local community groups have you been involved with in your time? What's your connection to the community? And we'll start with Bria.
I was born and raised in this riding of Lambton-Kent-Middlesex, and since the age of 13 years old, I've been employed. I'm a goal-oriented person. I am, aside from a business owner, I run 2 businesses in Dresden. I also am a public educator, so I'm an elementary school teacher in the Lambton-Kent District School Board. And I have also worked with the municipality of Chatham-Kent. I've worked in our library services. I spent my first career, when I first went to school, I was a kinesiologist, and I spent my time in long-term care facilities across the riding, working with our elderly and senior population. And I've spent my entire career up until this point in public service, and that leads well into the ultimate job of being your member of parliament, because I understand life as a mother and a business owner on the ground, and I understand the handcuffs that our government puts around us by taking all of our money.
So I'm sure some of the farmers in the room can appreciate that when you're working in agriculture, you really don't have a lot of time to do a lot other than work. I've been involved in politics. I've been a public servant. I've worked in Ottawa, working for the people there. I've also been involved at the local level in municipal politics, volunteering, sitting on boards, and learning and understanding what it is in the urban areas and how municipal governments work, as well as with the federal level. So I have a very excellent understanding and knowledge of urban and rural issues.
I mentioned in the beginning, community involvement is a huge passion of mine. One area I've been involved in, I sit on the board of Leeds Employment Services. We have an office here in Strathroy. We cater to ensuring that we find employment opportunities to the most vulnerable in this Middlesex region. In addition, I also volunteer with the local health network, start a music therapy program, where I play some music in long-term care homes.
We haven't spoken much about First Nations in this debate. I'm from Chippewas of the Thames First Nation. There's 4 other First Nations in the riding. As a member of that community, I've had the chance to offer some of the learnings that I've taken as a lawyer, as a former senior fellow at the United Nations, and I've brought those back to the communities by helping to create education opportunities in relation to the United Nations. I've provided pro bono legal advice, and I've also been a volunteer at community events, doing things like helping to carry the coffee and be present and feed the elders. So it's very important to give back to communities. I'm very pleased to have had the chance to do so. Thank you.
Yeah, I've now been in Strathroy for just over 20 years. As my family was growing up, I got involved in everything my children did, from hockey, soccer, to Army cadets. I do a bunch of charity events. I was very fortunate this summer to run a few of them, raising over $7,000 for charity. 1,000 of that went to school kids in Ipperwash to have backpacks and school supplies for senior K and junior K kindergarten kids that did not have what they needed to go to school. Thank you.
I currently sit on the Board of Governors for Shriners Hospitals for Children, and we manage 22 hospitals across North America. And we actually serve hundreds of children within the jurisdiction of Lambton-Kent-Middlesex. On top of that, I've served as a regional director for the Basset Club of Canada. I'm a past president of the Kent Kennel Club. I'm a past master of 2 Masonic lodges, and many other things. But that only gets you so far. Getting out and being involved in the community is what's important. I'm involved with my kids' activities. That's how you get around. You get to understand it. But you have to put the community first. It's going to sometimes make...
Okay, I hate to do that, but it's just,
Sure.
it's necessary.
Sure.
I really, no, I don't. Okay, and this will be the last question of the evening. Why do you want to be elected to government? Will you do what is best for re-election or what is best for Canadians? How should politicians be held accountable to voters?
I am running to represent Lambton-Kent-Middlesex because my biggest passion is helping people. My second biggest passion is agriculture. And with the experience that I have working in Ottawa, working on policy, but also experience here on the ground in the agriculture industry, in small business, starting my own business, those things have instilled in me the experiences that I need to represent people here in Lambton-Kent-Middlesex. You deserve to have somebody who's passionate about you and every individual. I will work to help as many people as I possibly can if I was elected to be your next member of parliament. My door is open. I want to communicate with folks. I want to foster relationships with people in this riding, and I want to be that voice for you in Ottawa and represent you. Ultimately, that's what I'm there for, and I hope that you will consider me as your choice.
I'm running because I see a need for sustainability. And when I say the word sustainability, what does that really mean? Well, we need to achieve greater resource and energy efficiency using technology to lower our cost of living. In terms of speaking for your needs, I mentioned already, the Green Party does not whip votes. I will put your concerns over the policies of the party. The other status quo parties will not, as much as they will say they have party whips.
I don't love politics. I don't see myself as a politician. They say that some people go to Ottawa because they want to be somebody, and some people go to Ottawa because they want to change something. There's nothing more powerful than walking up to the door in Lambton-Kent-Middlesex and asking someone what matters to them and seeing a problem that they can't solve by themselves, and to think for a moment that you might be empowered to help them solve that problem. I want to do that for Lambton-Kent-Middlesex. I want to be your voice in Ottawa. Thank you.
I want to be elected because I want to serve again. I want to contribute to my community and serve the people of my community. I come from a lot of people in my family with service. I learned it very young. My grandfather, mother, myself all served in the military. This is another way to continue serving. We may not have the backing and the experience the other parties have, but we have heart and we have honor, and I think sometimes that can be enough. Thank you.
For myself, it's giving a voice to the riding. I alluded earlier to our last MP, was there for many, many years, but never truly represented the riding. And that is a problem. Going door to door, that is the constant thing I hear. I hear that from farmers. I even hear that from people who have conservative signs on their lawn. My door will always be open, and you do it for the people. And as for going for what the party says, you guys elect me. The party does not elect me. Thank you.
If the People's Party of Canada didn't exist today, I wouldn't be here. I care about our future. I want a governance that's based on freedom, fairness, responsibility, and respect. I care about my community in Lambton-Kent-Middlesex, and I care about my country and all of our futures. I'm concerned with a government that doesn't allow their MPs freedom of speech and freedom of expression, and I'm here to fight for that for you.
Okay, it's time for closing statements now. And we'll start, I think, maybe with Anthony this time. Again, you have 2 minutes.
Thank you, and thank you everyone for coming out today. If there's anything I want you guys to walk away with, it's that the Greens are not a one-issue party. Look at our fully costed platform online. Ladies and gentlemen, healthcare, education, and the sustainability of our economy are under attack. Our current system just is not working. Canadians want change. Canadians want transparency. Canadians want an accountable government, and they can find that in the Greens. We can see this realization across the country. The Green wave is spreading from coast to coast. If these values are important to you, come join the wave. Because now, more than ever, we need real climate change. Real climate action. No. I'll keep going on, though. Because the climate crisis is here. I've talked to farmers who've been hit with low crop yields and late harvest because of abnormal precipitation and weather habits. I've talked to small business owners who've been hit with unexpected expenses due to the variability in temperature and humidity. As a medical student, as a researcher, I believe I'm the only candidate here who's a scientist. We need to listen to the science. We need to show that climate change is an important issue, and we need to ensure that we have a sustainable future. I'm not your typical political candidate. I'm not a politician, not a lawyer, not a long-term party faithful, but I have experience. I have the energy, and I have the drive to serve. From my nonprofit work, to governance experience, to my passion for advocacy, I am ready to serve Lambton-Kent-Middlesex. I am ready to serve you. A vote for me is a vote for science. It's a vote for real climate action. It's a vote for the future generations of Canadians. My name is Anthony Lee. I'm your Green Party candidate. Thank you for listening.
I just want to thank everybody for their questions this evening. There were some great questions out there. I've knocked on well over 10,000 doors throughout our riding over the course of our campaign, and people are telling me every day their life is becoming less affordable. This candidates' night is not only about the campaign here locally, it's about getting our country back on track. A new Conservative government led by Andrew Scheer will live within its means and put more money back in your pockets. That money will be for you, your children, and your parents. We'll take the GST off your home heating bill, scrap the carbon tax, make parental benefits tax-free, lower personal taxes, balance the budget, and attract higher, better-paying jobs. It's hard enough to get ahead without the government making it more difficult. And all of us can agree, if you work hard, you should be able to buy a home, save for retirement, and care for your children and parents as they age. In recent weeks, you've heard the Trudeau Liberals talk a lot about everyone other than themselves. There's a reason for this. The Liberals don't want to talk about their record, and I can understand why. They don't want to discuss the SNC-Lavalin scandal, the Vice Admiral Mark Norman case, paying millions to convicted terrorists, runaway taxes, or out-of-control spending on borrowed money. Canada cannot afford another 4 years under Justin Trudeau and the Liberals. As a hard-working father of 5, Andrew Scheer is a great leader, and he has a plan for all Canadians to get ahead and to build the lives that they want. I, Leanne Rood, am running to champion the people of Lambton-Kent-Middlesex, our small businesses, seniors, families, veterans, and farmers, so that you can get ahead and not just get by. On October 21st, vote for me, vote for Leanne Rood and a Conservative Party. Thank you.
The biggest challenge we have with the People's Party of Canada is not with our policies. The People's Party has the best ideas. It's that many people are not yet aware of our new party, but Maxime Bernier participating in the national debates this October 7th will change that. And I urge all of you to tune in to what will surely be the most watched debate in our recent history. I want to ask you to imagine this for a second. Imagine a man who walked away from a comfortable position, secure, and broke away from the corrupt establishment at an enormous risk and personal cost to create a party for the people, an opportunity for us to regain control in the hands of the people where it belongs. He would never know how many of us would stand up with him. He may have started as a party of one, but look how far he has come. Ask yourself, what would draw everyday people like me out of their personal life to join politics? Canadian immigrants, veterans of our armed forces, Canadians of every religion and viewpoint out of their private lives to join politics for the first time. It's the best set of ideas. The People's Party platform, it promises the best future for our country. If you want your democracy restored, elect an MP that is not bound by party rules and has the freedom to vote for your concerns. I can raise any issue in the House of Commons. Maxime has given me the freedom to vote for you. We're fighting for a freer and more prosperous Canada based on uniting Canadians around freedom, fairness, responsibility, and respect. Don't let this opportunity to make history and join the movement pass you by. Vote for me, Bria Atkins, and the People's Party of Canada.
I'd just like to start off by thanking the Strathroy Chamber of Commerce and our two mediators here this evening, and also every one of you for taking the time out of your busy lives to come here tonight and watch us talk up here about and make promises that'll probably never happen. That's being truth and honest. Now, this riding in this country does not need 4 more years of Justin Trudeau. Just as much as this country does not need 4 years of Andrew Scheer or Doug Ford II. We don't need that. We need a party in there that includes everybody, gives dignity to everybody, and will continue to do that and be for the people. With that, I'd like to thank you very much, and on the 21st, vote for myself and the New Democratic Party. Vote Dylan McClain, because I'm in this for you.
Leadership is about giving, not taking. Any real leader always puts the people he's responsible for first. But that's why I said with the Veterans Coalition Party, as we get Canada back to a balanced budget, we have to show that we're in for that too. We will implement things to cut MPs' pay by 20%, which I have mentioned, and pensions of MPs retroactive by 2.5%. We'll cut wasteful spending of taxpayers' money, negotiate better deals with our trading partners around the world by building better relationships. The CPP will no longer be taxed as an income for seniors. We will work on safe and productive ways to get our resources to markets, current markets and new markets. We will repeal the carbon tax but continue to find new ways to produce green energy. We will mandate that fossil fuel companies also come up with new alternatives to green energy. We need to research and talk to our farmers to find the best way to help our small family farms, either by a farm tax, some sort of farm tax cut, or finding a way to work with municipalities in the province to lower operational costs for our farmers. In closing, I would just like to say thank you to all of you who come here this evening, our moderators, the other candidates. Everyone have a great evening and drive home safe. Thank you very much.
I would like to thank the Strathroy Chamber of Commerce and the Senior Centre for hosting us today, and our two moderators for keeping us all on time. In the Anishinaabe community, we have a concept called Devwewin. It's to speak from the heart. I'm going to take my notes and put them to the side. I'm a father, I'm a partner, I'm from Lambton-Kent-Middlesex, and I believe I would be an effective representative for this riding in Ottawa for you. I worry about putting Andrew Scheer in the position of Prime Minister because he has not had any real responsibilities other than politics. And what does that mean when you're shaping your ideas and you're approaching what to do on a difficult issue? I had someone yell at me on the street the other day. I'd never met him before. And it's because we're focusing our politics on character assassination. We're not talking about the issues. So much of what's coming out of the Conservative Party of Canada isn't about the issues, it's about character assassination. I want to leave my kids a better country, a better politics, where we focus on what's best for Canadians. My name is Jesse McCormick, your Liberal Party of Canada candidate for Lambton-Kent-Middlesex, and I would greatly appreciate your support on October 21st. Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of the evening, and I think we can all agree that this is probably the most fun you can have in an hour and a half on a weeknight without getting arrested. Now, before we wrap up, I do want to also extend thanks to the TV audience as well as to everyone here tonight. Tonight, we discussed an exchange of ideas. We heard 6 varying viewpoints, and I think it's a testament to the fact that we had a debate that was civil, open, forthright, and honest to help you make decisions as you proceed in voting. I do also want to thank the Strathroy District Chamber of Commerce for hosting this, and perhaps even more importantly, my co-host. I mean, obviously there was tonight, we are trained professionals, do not attempt this at home. So just throwing that out there, she kept us on the straight and narrow. Most importantly, though, I want to thank the candidates for being here. And I say not just being here tonight, but signing up and becoming a candidate. It's a very difficult thing to put your name on a ballot, to be judged by your friends, your neighbors, and your community. However, democracy only works if people like the 6 of you have the courage to stand up and put your ideas forward. So the hope tonight is that we, the voters, can share that same kind of courage and come out to vote. You'll often hear people say, it doesn't matter who you vote for, just vote. except I would say tonight we heard 6 very different viewpoints and ideas. So perhaps a better saying is that no matter how you vote, vote. And with that, I'm going to give the last word to Lorene to sum everything up and send us all home happy and ready for the challenges ahead.
Okay. All right. I don't know how I could top that. So I just want to say thank you to everybody for coming out tonight. It's a great showing here. I'm flabbergasted with how many people showed up. We had to go and get extra chairs. So, and also to the viewing audience, everyone should vote, but it's so important to have an informed vote as well, and that's what you're all doing here. Be sure to look up the candidates who maybe you prefer, read up on their policies, even on the ones that you don't prefer, maybe just to get a lot of the background information on them as well. Just stay as informed as you possibly can with the federal policies as well. And thanks for being here. October 21st, get out and vote, or again, head online and find out about those advanced polls as well if you want to vote a little bit early. And have a great night.